You're listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
What is up? Paul Apostolakis, Salvatore Kuzmano, Brad Weisgerber. We are Inside Real Estate. Please, if you are listening to the show, thank you for listening. Go and subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. You can find us on irepodcast.com. You can go to Facebook/IRE Podcast. You can search us in YouTube, IRE Podcast, or Inside Real Estate Podcast. You'll see our page there. You can really find us on any podcast app. So if you are listening on one of those, thank you again. But if you are, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Today, guys, how are you? Brad, Sal, how are you guys? You guys are good?
Morning, feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Today on the show, we've got a really cool guy. I've been watching him just through LinkedIn for like a few years now. His name's Khash Saghafi. He's from the Cleveland area. He is from Liberty Home Mortgage Corporation. He kind of runs the show over there, and he does a really, really good job. His energy is really high. So I wanted to bring him on today and talk to him about kind of how he got into the business, and then also want to talk about his strategy and talk about his drive, because really this guy is just kind of doing the same thing we do. Like he's always on making videos. He's always kind of pushing the needle, and I really like that about him. It's not always we have another loan officer or someone in the business in, but I think we'll get some good perspective from someone from a different market. What do you guys think? Yeah. All right. So without further ado, Khash Saghafi, come on the show, dude.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the intro. And I was waiting for Sal or Brad to say like, no.
No.
Cancel
him.
Cleveland,
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. We don't need this guy on the show. So I sincerely appreciate it, man. Paul, even for yourself, like I've been watching you for years on the videos and stuff, man. And like, I'm just huge on social media. Like that's my thing. I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm like, man, if you're in sales, and I'm talking like any kind of sales, like I talk to my brothers, they're doctors. And I tell my brother, they don't, of course, listen to me. I don't even think they know what I do for a living, for God's sakes. I'm the youngest child. So nobody in the family knows what I do for a living, for goodness sake. But I tell my brother, I'm like, you're a doctor. I tell my best friend, Thomas, you're a doctor. Your goal is get people to walk in your door and use your services. That's just a fact. They're in private practice. So your job is to market and get your name out there and position yourself as the expert so that when people say, I need a doctor, people bring up your name. Now, there's different ways to get your name out. Well, I'll talk for 10 hours on that. I could talk. Yeah. My 9th grade high school teacher, Mrs. Rhea, I love Mrs. Rhea. She was our debate teacher. She wanted to start the debate team up because like I was in her class, like, and she was like, man, you could talk. She's like, we need to start the debate team. We used to have a debate team years ago and blah, blah. I was like, I can't like be on some debate team, whatever. So I didn't go with it, but I could talk. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, look at you now, dude. You're doing great things there in the Cleveland area. So what I want to get into is how did you get into since you're new to the show, obviously, we always start with how did you get into the business that you're in, real estate, mortgages in general. Nobody really kind of comes out of college and says, I'm going to do mortgages or I'm going to do real estate. Usually, I mean, it's very, very right. So how did you end up where you're at?
You took that away from me because I was going to say, and then I know that Brad and Sal would be like, this guy cannot be serious right now. What I was going to say to answer your question, I was going to go, since I was like in 1st grade, like when the teacher would have us in a circle and say like let's do like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I want to be a loan officer someday. This was back when I was born in 73. So yeah, you guys, Sal and Brad would be like texting each other. Is this guy being serious right now? Is he like a crazy lost his mind? No, listen, I tell everybody, I didn't learn what a loan officer was, I think, until I was like 6 years into it. And I was like, oh, holy crap, that's like me. Like, so that's like, I guess that's my job title. Khash, what do you do for a living? I don't know. I give people mortgages or something like that, right? So ultimately, I mean, my whole life, my family's all doctors. My whole life, I wanted to be a doctor. And the truth is, it's to this day, if I can go back in time and talk sense into my brain, I'd have been a doctor or whatever. So, my whole family's doctors. So I go to Oklahoma State University. I go to college. I graduate in 1996 with a Bachelor of Science in Biology. So naturally, it's kind of funny because like I'll give talks. There's some of the different universities in the area have me come in and talk at their College of Business. I've gone to some other colleges outside of Ohio and done that. And when I talk at those schools, it's funny, I'll give a lecture over business or something. And at the end I'll say, hey, so what do you guys think my degree's in? And every single person's always like finance, marketing, this, that. And I'll say, no, it's in biology. And they're just completely blown away by it. And I'm like, the cool thing with biology is it's all science and math. So my undergrad degree's in biology. I end up going to a biomedical sciences training program out of a medical school here in Northeast Ohio called Case Western Reserve. So I go into that program, going to be a doctor. The truth that, see, even thinking about it again, I just want to go, if I could go back in time and punch myself in the face, I swear I would. I came home from Oklahoma State. I'm born and raised in Cleveland. I come home. I'm going out all the time. My parents are Middle Eastern. I'm a first generation American. They're not down with the Hesh goes out every night and like parties like a crazy man.
Yeah.
So it reached a point where my dad was like, you can't keep going out like this and go to medical school and complete medical school and do this and this and this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to move out. I'm old enough to live on my own. I'm not going to listen to this, whatever. So I moved out, and 2 years in, instead of getting back on my hands and knees and crawling back and begging forgiveness and telling him he was right, I did the next best thing. I dropped out, and I dropped out. So I had nothing to like. I don't know. I was then just, instead of being, hey, I'm going to be a doctor, which my whole family is, and it's my whole life, and it's all I ever wanted to be. Like to this day, like, I mean, I was in a program. You get your MD and you get your master's degree also. So I was 6 weeks away from getting a master's in human anatomy. There's nothing I love more than that stuff, man. Studying like the ACL or the body, the anatomy of the human body, all this stuff's crazy. So it's what I wanted, but I could not live on my own and complete that level of schooling.
Right.
So I dropped out. So then I just became a guy with a biology degree, right? Oh man, I was flipping houses. I was day trading in the stock market. I was watching Maria Bartiromo. I had a crush on her along with every other freaking guy in the world. God knows, watching the TV, every CNBC. I was day trading stocks. Tech stock bubble crushed me. I formed a company, a construction company, USA Construction, right? I was going to start doing roofs and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
me and my buddy on the first roofing job, I'm driving a U-Haul truck to pick up the shingles we smashed into a telephone pole. It was craziness. I'm trying all these different jobs. Well, my one friend was doing mortgages, and I don't know, like he was like, hey, listen, man, like I work at this company here. If I throw you some of these deals I can't do, take them over to that company there and go get them done, and we'll make some money. And I was like, I don't know, like, what I got to do. So he gave me, hey, I can't do this loan at this place I work at. Take this over to so-and-so over at this. He's a mortgage broker. He's got programs. You know, you do the loan. Now, this is in 1999, 2000. Right. So I started doing this in October of 99. So like licensing didn't exist. There was no licenses.
No, there was no licensing back then.
So like I started doing that. And then just slowly, like I was like, I crashed the freaking U-Haul truck. I'm not kidding you. I had the insurance on it, so I didn't crash the front of it. I knocked a hole in the side of it. But I was like, that ain't going to be my thing. USA Construction's done whatever all this craziness is. So the loans just started coming along. And the next thing I know, I went full time in April 2000. So in April 2000, I was like, I think I could like do this as a full-time job. So I started going full time in April 2000. And then just like the next thing I knew, like it just, I don't know, it just like started picking up. And like I do with anything, I always looked like if I could make $1,000, like if I made $1,000 doing one deal, well, if I do 10, I'll make $10,000. And if I do 100, I'll make $100,000. So my brain just stacks up whatever it is. I scale up. Yeah. And I just thought like, man, like I got a shot. Like I think you can make some decent money doing this. Like, and especially if you grow and build. And then I just started growing and building. I opened up a mortgage brokerage in 2003. HUD changed the guidelines in 2010, January, net worth requirements. Yeah. So then I closed my brokerage and I went and worked under a couple different places until I had the net worth, opened back up in 2014. And I am where I am today. But honestly, I always tell people, like they'll say, Hesh, but you're the owner. Listen, man, Desktop Underwriter does not have a button that like declines the loan, but then oh man, I forgot to tell it I'm the owner. And then I push the button.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
You're the owner. So you get the loan. I always tell people that's all. The guidelines are all the same, whether you own the company you work for, you're a broker, you're a banker, you're this, you're that, whatever. It's just understanding it and then going into the details. Like you, Paul, I've been watching you. Oh, you've always been doing the videos and stuff like that. And that to me is what business is about. Yeah. And, I don't know if it took me 14 minutes to answer your question, Lord knows, so I apologize for that.
No, it's perfect.
I don't even remember what the question was.
It's perfect.
It happens to a lot of people, Brad, when they talk to me. I just
you're a great storyteller.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, man. So like you get in the business, you start your own brokerage again, back up, and what is your strategy now, right? Like, man, you're starting up your brokerage in a really competitive market. We can't say the mortgage market isn't competitive. There's always loan officers that are trying to get the same deal that you're getting, right? So how did you set yourself apart?
Like when I started up, when I left the company I went full time at, it was a subprime lender, and I went off on my own in February of 2002. The company I worked at was giving me leads. So in February of 02, when I went on my own, there was no one to give me leads. So since February of 02, I've always had to get my own business.
Right.
So it just started with like, okay, I need business. What I started doing was like, I put an ad in the paper for a telemarketer. I started sending out direct mail to homes to refinance. I started buying internet leads. What they were very generic internet leads, but that's what you got at the time. So it was just a matter of like, I need to get people to call me. How can I make my phone ring?
Yeah.
And I was all into the refis and stuff like that. And refis to me, I identified in 2001 that refinances were too rate sensitive. I remember like if the rates were at 7 and someone was like, Khash, they're going to go into the 6, don't call me until it goes down to 6.99. And I was like, it's 7.0 to 6.99. There's no difference. Like whatever it is.
Yes. They wanted that 6 in front of that. Right.
They wanted the 6 in front of it.
Right.
So I'm sitting here saying like, I want to go after purchases because they're not so rate. People want to buy a house. They buy a house. When I bought my first house, May 5th, 1998, my rate was 7.5.
Right.
But at the time that was the rate. So it was like, I used to
Right.
brag about it to people. I got a 7.5% interest rate, whatever it is. Well, so I started looking into purchases. Well, then I started looking, where can I get purchases at? And that's when I started identifying referral sources. And I could tell you this, I would tell you, Paul, Brad, Sal, that the life-changing experiences in my life that relative to even this industry, this job, January 19th, 2002, I'm at Ditka's restaurant. The Chicago Bears are playing the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles won, by the way. I rode down the elevator with my girlfriend at the time, with Donovan McNabb, Deuce Staley, Brian Dawkins.
Yes.
We're in the elevator going down, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy mother of God, like, oh my God. Like these guys, like I was about to fall down with Donovan McNabb. Grab was like, now I'm a Cleveland Browns diehard fan. But I still got Donovan McNabb standing next to you. I like that
athlete.
man. Classy athlete, everything. And then you got Brian Dawkins, man. Like that dude hits like a ton of bricks, I just wanted to grab it. Like, I love the way you play, whatever it is. But I'm just standing there, whatever. They get off the elevator. And my girlfriend, she's like, who are those guys? And I'm like, they're going to be playing like in 5 hours on the field in front of it. That's where we're going to watch the game, whatever.
Yeah.
So we go there. I met a gentleman there who showed me a concept. I call it the 3 circles of success, which I've done videos on this. It's how you identify a referral source and then how you farm that referral source. That was a big meeting. Another thing he taught me was reverse engineering. If you say, Khash, I want to close 10 loans, it's okay to close 10 in the world of purchases. Let's just say you need to have 15 contracts, inspections, fallout, houses don't appraise, whatever it is, 15 contracts. To have 15 contracts, you need 20 pre-approvals. To have 20 pre-approvals, you have to have 30 sets of docs back. 30 sets of doc backs is 40 doc requests. 40 doc requests is 100 credit pulls. 100 credit pulls is 200 conversations. 200 conversations is 1,000 dials. Start with 1,000 dials. If you do 1,000 dials, boom, the rest of it takes care of itself.
Yeah.
That's reverse engineering out the numbers.
Yeah.
That was January 19th, 02. The other time was I've almost gone bankrupt twice in this industry. May of 2002, March of 2009. I mean, the worst was March of 2009. I mean, so I start trying to get leads in all these different ways. I'm buying things, I'm spending money, I'm opening up my company, I'm scaling up, whatever. And then the industry hits a brick wall with the crash, the Great Recession.
Yeah.
I've got all this credit card debt. Things I'm doing aren't working. March of 2009, I was up to $600,000 in credit card debt, man. The minimum payments were $20,000 a month. And you could look at all the charges. There wasn't boats and plane rides and gambling. That's not my style at all.
Right.
I put everything into my business, and man, it was a struggle. And then I worked that off. I didn't go bankrupt. I remember my attorney giving me the intake papers to declare bankruptcy. That was a hard pill to swallow, man. That was like, wild. I remember sitting there in my kitchen looking at the intake papers, and he was like, fill all this stuff out and give it back to me. I almost did it in May of 02. I had $54,000 in credit cards when I first opened my business. I was doing payroll off of it. And then I simply got bigger. I paid all that off in 04. 04, 05, I'm doing great. The slide begins in 6 and 7. I'm trying to expand into other markets to do what I do, but the market's pulling back. Yeah. And I end up March of 09, $600,000 in credit card debt. I ended up paying all that back off. I didn't go bankrupt because I knew if I go bankrupt, the one question they ask you when you go for warehouse lines and certain things like that is, have you ever declared bankruptcy?
Correct.
Not have you had in the last 7 years, have you ever?
Correct.
I didn't do it. And then I fought back. I paid all that debt back off. That was like, man, that was a dogfight, man. It was hard. then I got it all cleared, and then I had the net worth, and I opened Liberty up, and we are where we are, and I'm up to 250 employees. When I started Liberty Home Mortgage in November of 2014, it was myself and Melissa, my vice president today. She was my processor at the time. It was just her and I, two people. November of 14. Today, right now, we have just over 250 people.
That's wild, man.
38 states.
That's super wild. Yeah, that's.
I have no
wild.
credit card debt, by the way. I have no debt. I'm kidding. Oh my God. People
you know
want
what?
line of credit. Oh.
You know what? It's funny. Like people in our industry, Sal and Brad, that they've done this for a while. You go through ebbs and flows. Like I went through 2008. I made no money, right? Like, and it's like, oh my God, what industry? Like, is this industry going to recoup? The industry will always give you what you give it, what you put into it. But sometimes there's things that happen externally that you don't have any control over, which is wild. But you got to kind of scratch and claw your way out of that. Hash. Now, that's impressive that you were able to do that, because not a lot of people would do that, dude. A lot of people would just sign that paperwork and be like, I'm out on this.
I mean, a story I share is like I tell people like a big life-changing moment for me was June 19th, 1997. I'm downtown Cleveland in the flats, which, by the way, my dad always told me, nothing good ever happens after 8 o'clock at night in Cleveland. Do not go out. He'd always tell me that. And I was always like, man, I wrestled Oklahoma State. I roll with my boys. Like, these are big dudes. We can handle ourselves. June 19th, 1997, 2:30 in the morning, I'm walking back to my car with my buddy Rich, and 5 people come up to us, just a completely random act of violence, no sense behind it. Girl gets up in my face, guy behind her comes up behind her, reaches around her and shoves a knife dead center in my chest. Like the knife's right there, actually. Jammed in my chest. Oh yeah, I almost bled to death. Bled to death. I passed out from the blood loss. I survived 34 staples in my chest, whatever. I didn't have an epiphany. I didn't speak to God or nothing crazy like that. But I could tell you this one, man. I remember laying on the ground of BW3 in downtown Cleveland, literally just sitting there saying, like, this is it. Like I knew I was in a real bad situation. I mean, I was bleeding bad. I mean, he severed an artery, superior epigastric artery right there.
Wow.
And like that, like, so for me, the baseline, Paul, like when I was drowning in credit card debt, my friends were always like, Hash, like, I'm very transparent with my debt and income and stuff like that, because I don't define people by how much money they make. Listen, man, I've been dead broke. I mean, like in December of 2005, I had like a ton of money in my 401k, a ton of money in the bank, no debt, no credit cards, no nothing. I just paid off all my credit cards from 2002. Yeah. So I was like, I'm done, right? And then all of a sudden I liquidated my 401k. When the slide began, like you said, Paul, you're looking to like fight and claw inches.
Yeah.
And I liquidated my 401k. I pulled out the equity of my house. I started charging up the credit cards. And I always thought, like, I'm going to turn the corner. I never did. And my friends would be like, dude, like, how are you not like on like heavy doses of like sedatives, elephant tranquilizers or something? Like, how do you even function, for God's sakes? And honestly, for me, it was always simple. And I always say, like, I don't know. It's not as bad as like laying on the dirty floor of BW3 bleeding to death. Like, I know that one for a fact. I don't know a lot of things. I'm not that smart of a guy. But like, so for me, being murdered and like thinking this is it, that's my baseline. So there's nothing you can tell me. You could tell me right now, like the FBI could raid the place or shut my place down or whatever it is. As long as I'm alive, I guess I'm not in prison, right? Yeah. Nothing like that. But if I get like the first 2 words in my brain every day I wake up, I'm not kidding you. Like I've never read the Bible. I've only been to church for weddings and funerals. I'm not kidding you. The first 2 words in my brain every day is thank you. Like, yeah. I'm here. There was another person that summer stabbed in the flats, completely different incident, but just random act of violence. He died.
Yeah.
I lived.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here 24 years later telling you the story. How do I know that guy? I didn't die. That guy lived, and he's on some other show today telling the story. Hey, some other dude, June 19th got knifed, whatever it is.
That's wild.
So that's my baseline. Like it's my baseline, and it's kindergarten. It's like,
dude, when death is your baseline, I think there's nowhere to go but up from there.
I don't know. It's weird because I tell people, I say, honestly, as crazy as this is, I actually think it's the greatest experience of my life. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the guy got 5 years in prison. That's 5 years in prison.
That's good. He at least got put, 5 for attempted murder.
They didn't go attempted murder. The prosecutor plea bargain, because the prosecutor said we can't get attempted murder because he only stabbed you once. If he stabbed you twice, it would have been attempted murder. So they went second-degree felonious assault with a deadly weapon. He was facing 3 to 8 years, and Judge Shanna Burnside gave him 5 consecutive 1-year sentences.
That's wild. Was there ever a motive that came out of that?
Zero. Completely random act of violence.
That's wild.
Totally random. Nothing. It was absolutely nothing. Well, I got lucky, man.
Yeah, Hash. Well, I'm glad you made it, dude. You're still here with us, right? So,
thank you.
Hash, so let's talk about your business. So you have 250 employees right now. let's talk about the current state of your affairs. What are you doing today to support those 200? Because when you own a company, like I take it very seriously. Sal does, Brad does, that we have employees that we have to provide for. So now it's like, shit, what do I do? How do I provide for these people that are coming on board and wanting to follow us, basically, right? So talk to us about kind of like your mentality and what you're doing on a day today to kind of provide value to your team.
I appreciate the question. It's an awesome question. I'm very big today on the employee experience. As a matter of fact, something I'm proud of, we did recently, like in Cleveland, the Cleveland.com, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, our paper here, they have something called Northeast Ohio's best workplaces, top workplaces to work. So they give a survey that's a huge set of questions to companies to fill out, whatever it is. So your employees fill it out. I have no access to you have no idea about anything. They take this huge, gigantic survey and they give it out to thousands and thousands of companies. Well, we actually just won number one, and I didn't pay for it or nothing.
Yeah, that's people always think that you do pay for that stuff, but some of them you do.
Some of them you do.
Yeah.
Advertorials, they call them. Advertorials.
Yes.
So it looks like an ad, but editorial.
But this was not one of those. This was not one of them.
I didn't know we won. We took first for number one workplace for mid-sized companies in Northeast Ohio. And I guess mid-sized company was like anywhere from like 200 to 500 employees, something, or 500 or less, 500 employees or less, or something like that. So for me, it's the employee experience. Richard Branson said it. He said, I do not believe in putting the customer first. I put the employee first, because if you take care of your employees, they take care of your customers. 15 years ago, I was always like the customer, like it's got to be there. Now today, it's all about my people, man. I've got to make sure that they've got every single thing. I mean, you see behind me, there's my Oklahoma State wrestling mat back there.
Yeah.
Our weights back there. Everything in this building that we're in, we have a full-time chef. Now, mind you, when I started out small, when it was just me and Melissa, really a big game changer was my operations manager, Ian Shirey, was like, he came into the office. I'm very like, I'm a science guy, right? I'm a science guy. Right. So I'm probably a very boring individual, more than likely.
No, I don't think so.
Not at all.
I'm into like no music, no sound. You work. This is what we do. We grind, we push. This is what we do, whatever. And a lot of that comes from, almost all of it comes from wrestling, quite honestly. I wrestled at Oklahoma State. I was another huge experience was I wrestled at Oklahoma State. I was coached by John Smith, who was a 6-time world champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Kenny Monday, Olympic gold medalist. Half of my teammates were on the Olympic team. Almost all my coaching staff is Olympics. I was surrounded for 5 years of my life by Bill Gates. I was surrounded by the best of the best. And I've had people say, Hash, but wrestling's not mortgages. BS, it's not. I almost cursed, by the way. I talk like a truck driver. Like you can say bullshit.
You can say bullshit all you want, bro.
Okay. So I'm sitting here saying like, so it's identical. It's come in early, stay late. If you're struggling, put in more work. It's just that simple. It's that easy equation. You got to do repetition. You got to stay intense. You got to focus. You got to make a commitment to being consistent with your actions and what you do and what you say. Your actions have to follow your actions have to follow your words. So Richard Branson's all about the employee experience. So today, it's all about the employees as much as I can, and I just heard about an underwriting condition that we've been giving conditions on, because I caught the condition myself. But when I went to my processor and said, "Hey, this condition shouldn't be a condition," and she said, "It's normal. Like this is something that's a auto-populated condition." So when I'm off of this call here, I've got to call the head of my underwriting department. Now, normally I'd call Melissa, my vice president. Paul, I have the greatest staff. I know that people say that, right? I know that people say that, but I'm surrounded by people who are like the best. I've got the best group of people, and I think it starts from the top down. But man, we have good people. We just have good people that know what the values of the company are. And but when this call is done, I got to call the head of underwriting, because my vice president, for the first time in 7 years, she actually took off this week as a vacation. 7 years, she's never taken one day off. I'm not kidding you.
No way.
So she took off this week. So normally I'd call her. She's the vice president. Now, mind you, she was my processor. So she went from there. Then she would underwrite loans. Her and I would underwrite together. When we first started the company, the first loan we ever did, it was just her and I, right? Yeah. I got my warehouse line. And I'm like, I'm going to underwrite a loan now. And now at this time, I've done the job for like 16 years, but I've never still like officially underwritten, decisioned, and closed out a loan.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. When we funded this loan, Paul, I was like, oh my God. When we went to sell it to the investor, I think it took like 45 days to sell. My warehouse bank has called me, Khash, we're going to haircut you again. It's 45 days on. I'm like, it's the investor. And in my head, I'm thinking, no, I tried to play cowboy and freaking rock and roll it myself, and I missed 5 things, you know?
Oh, man.
I got the brain of a loan officer, but
Yes.
I got to go to the head of underwriting and say, hey, that condition that's get rid of it. And that's a good feeling today because I can kind of control some of that, and it's a good thing. And I probably didn't even answer your question for God's sake.
No, you answered a lot of them. No, that was perfect. No, dude. So like you've got 250 people there. You built it from the ground up. Where are you taking it now? Right.
I'll be honest with you. Like you're one of the people I look to constantly. I believe that this company will be $1 billion company inside of the next 10 years.
That's awesome.
I believe it. Like I don't, it's kind of funny. Like I tell people this one, when I used to train with for the 1992 Olympic Games, my wrestling coach, I used to train with him twice a day. I was a true freshman. I was redshirting in college, which means I wasn't competing and stuff like that. He needed a body and I was the body. And when I would talk to him, that was going for his second Olympic gold, his 6th world title. When I would talk to him, it was so matter of fact. It wasn't arrogant. It was just, I'm winning it. Like I'm winning it. Kenny Monday, another one of my head coaches at Oklahoma State, Olympic gold medalist, Olympic silver medalist, took 5th and 9th, 6 games. I was talking to him just the other day, and Kenny said to me, I said, when you took the stage in your gold medal match in 1988 versus Adlan Varayev, how nervous were you? And I just asked him this the other day. He said, I really wasn't nervous because I knew I put in all the work. I knew I did everything I had to do, and the preparation was there. And that match couldn't come fast enough because I knew what I was going to deliver to him. And when he was telling me that, I was like, man, like this is what I'm talking about. Like, so I don't even think we can be $1 billion. I know we can. I don't have a number of people I'm shooting for. I need to have 500 people. I need to get rid of the loan condition. That shouldn't be a condition.
That's numero. That
I got on my loan that I'm doing right now, because I can tell you this, if I got that condition, I got news for you. There's 50 other loans that we've got this month that have that condition. Yeah. And my loan officers in the trenches are going to be like, why do I need that? But then they're just going to think, I don't know, the underwriter gave the condition, I got to go get it. But because I'm in a different position, first of all, I originate, but I know how secondary is. I know selling of loans and stuff. I'm like, nuh-uh. No. We don't need that condition. Check your findings. It's not in the findings. Don't ask for it. So I need to take care of that. That condition is my focus. That is. We've got the fall coming up in September. My decorations come back out. Oh, you got to see, Paul. Like come Halloween, Christmas, the fall. It is craziness in this place.
I'm coming down to visit you. You're not that far. I'll tell you. You guys. I'll tell you a funny story. So my sister-in-law at the time lives in Cleveland. I was driving through Cleveland and I look up, and I'd been watching Khash for a while, and I didn't know exactly where he was based out of. Remember, right? And I remember this. I look up and they're in Chagrin Falls. That's where they were living. And I look up and I'm like, there's Khash. I'm like, holy shit, he's got a billboard. So I remember that you messaged me. I saw your billboard, dude, looking good. And I was like, where are you at? You're like, Chagrin Falls. I was like, holy cow. Yeah. So I'm gonna come down there. It'd be a great little getaway to see what you got going on over there. But that's awesome, man. So I love that. I love that you have this undying belief. Like you have a vision, a very clear vision of where you want to be. But you also know that the most important thing on your plate right now is really just getting that one condition removed from everything, from all these other things, right? So you're not moving too far ahead, I guess is my point with that. No, not at all. It's Paul. It's I need to get rid of that condition. I got news for you. And you know this as a loan officer, because you're a gigantic originator yourself, is that if there's that condition, I got news for you. There's other conditions too that are coming out that I'm just not aware of, that I don't see. So we gotta look at that, because if you don't fix that, then you're gonna have turmoil in the trenches with the I say soldiers, with the loan officers. I look at everything just like we're in constant battle, man. Like it's just like right now with the year the industry is having with inventory and all this other craziness going on. I tell my people all the time, you guys keep your head down. Right now we have to army crawl. We just have to fight and crawl every single inch. We're army crawling for the next 5 miles in the hot desert, in the mud, in the dirt. This is the industry, man. There's no inventory. It's intense, man. It's intense. Lumber prices are down now. It went up yesterday back into the 800s per 1,000 board feet. I never thought in a million years I'd learn what in God's name that is. I still don't even know. The price of steel keeps going up. I need steel to come down, whatever. I never thought I'd be looking at this stuff here, but nonetheless, it's a fight, man. It's a fight out there. So I gotta stay in the
in the know of what we're doing.
Right, in the weeds, right, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that a lot of new people that get into the industry, they're like, how am I going to get referral business, right? Like, that's really hard. So how do you get your guys to kind of have that mentality of getting referral business, and how do you kind of get them going?
I appreciate it. I mean, so when it comes to referral business, it's all about relationships, okay? I'll tell you two quick things, sort of.
Yeah.
Number one is social media, okay?
Yeah.
You've got to build, people do business with people they like, okay?
Right.
I used to believe that I could get business by just showing that I'm the best. I've got the lowest rates, I got the lowest fees, I got the most knowledge, whatever. And then I learned, I'll never forget how many agents over the years have called me and said, Hash, I'll never forget this one, man. I will never forget this one. This was back in 06. And people say, Hash, like, how do you remember that? I remember because it's important to me. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Some people remember where their child was when he first crawled. I don't have children, but I remember I remember the agent, I'll never forget this, saying to me, Hash, I would have sent you that deal, but our in-house loan officer, he looks so sad and nobody gives him business. And I felt so bad. And I just gave it to him instead. And I was like, dude, like, are you kidding me? I need business. I got $500,000 on my credit cards right now. It's a Titanic. Give me I was drove over there. I want to wrestle the guy away, man. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So it's relationships. Relationships begin with one. It's very slow. It does not come fast.
It doesn't. It's a lot of work. That's a great point. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like leads where you can churn on leads and make 100 calls, and it's not as scientific. It's a little bit more art, right? You got to get to know these people. And Sal, Brad, you guys know this. Like, but the trick is how do you transfer that knowledge to other LOs and kind of get them to kind of think and see that way, right? That's because a lot of loan officers want an instant gratification, where it's a relationship business. It's not instant. It's actually the opposite. It's very long.
Super slow. So something I tell people that I do is, on social media, you can either be the educator or the motivator, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody needs motivation. Doesn't matter who it is. Everybody does. I need motivation, okay?
Yeah.
Motivation. Then the educator, educate people on what you do and who you are. Facebook, the platforms are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Those are the four.
Yeah.
Facebook has 1.8 billion unique users per month. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, by the way, has 1 billion unique users per month.
Correct.
Twitter is 350 million. LinkedIn is 250 million. Okay, real estate agents. You want to go after real estate agents. Now, mind you, they're not the only referral source, though. Divorce attorneys.
Yes.
Financial planners, estate attorneys. Yes. There's a lot of different sources and people who interact with our customer. Step one, identify who they are. Okay, well, first of all, who's your customer? And then the question is, and this was the 3 circles of success that I was shown at Ditka's restaurant, was number one, identify your customer. I'm looking for people buying homes. That's my target audience. The second question of the 3 circles, and I'm in one of the circles, by the way. I'm in the bottom circle, the customer, my target's here, and then off to the side, the question is, who works with my target audience that I'm not competing with, that if I can get them on board with me, they will give me that person? Well, real estate agents are one. That's an easy one. Yeah. Who works with a home buyer? Well, a real estate agent does. Good. Go get the agents to believe in you, and they'll send you business.
Sure.
Divorce attorneys, estate planners, whatever it is. Social media, Facebook, the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, it's got like 1.6 million members. Demographically, and this is from the NAR, demographically, the average age and demographic of a real estate agent in the United States is a 53-year-old female. That's from the NAR, okay?
Yeah.
I got news for you. They ain't on Twitter.
No,
okay?
No.
They're not on Snapchat, okay? I get all these things, Hash, I got to go to Snapchat, whatever. No, you don't. Your target audience, I got news for you, is sitting right on Facebook. It's sitting on Facebook. Yes. Now, when you post on Facebook, it's called content, and there's value in content. Now, if you want to shoot a picture of your chicken breast, have at it, okay? I'm going to shoot a picture of, I call them did you knows. Did you know FHA requires you to be 2 years out of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy to qualify for a loan? I'm giving you knowledge for nothing.
Yep.
I'm not asking for
free value.
For free of value.
Yeah.
You do that, here comes, they start looking to you as, oh, wow, that person knows something.
Yeah.
So you're positioning yourself as the expert. It's slow. And that's the biggest thing I tell people. It's slow. It takes time. You gotta, it's a relationship. It's how do you make a best friend? Well, you got to go talk to the person, have a conversation with them, identify what they like, what they don't like. I mean, you see my wrestling mat in the background. Look at this one, Paul. I'll give you this one. And Brad. That's Oklahoma State. That's Pistol Pete on my mat, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll get people that message me on LinkedIn. They solicit me. Hash, where do you send all of your title business to? Blah, blah, whatever.
Sure.
And, you just get these canned things in there and like, whatever. Okay. I'm always polite. I try to respond to every single one. I'll get some people that'll just message me, cowboy up. And then they'll say, I saw you wrestle at Oklahoma State. Wow. Do you think I could get 5 minutes of your time to talk about your title business? And in my head, I'm thinking, damn, like I can't be rude because then they're going to like, I'm representing Oklahoma State wrestling and then he's going to be like, this guy's a jerk, whatever. So I'm like, sure. Yes, I'll give you my time. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But they hit
well,
you.
He took the time to research a little bit and get to know a little bit about your background, and that's how you start a relationship, right? You make it about the other person to get them to open up to start building a relationship.
It is about
nobody wants a relationship where it's one-sided and it's only about you.
Right? No, agreed. So if anybody needs anything from Hash, make sure you mention Oklahoma State.
Or bankruptcy, credit card debt. All this craziness. But Brad, you're 1,000% right. It's and the thing with social media, it's so easy to look something up on somebody. Just type somebody's name into Facebook, pull them up. She's a grandmother with grandchildren, and she just flew to Chicago to see her grandchildren. So when you call her, your introduction is, hey, your Facebook. You came across my feed and I saw you went to Chicago for your grandchildren. My goodness, my nephews and nieces, my parents' grandchildren live in Chicago too. That could be a complete lie, for goodness sake. Now, God knows you want to lie, but I mean, you're saying like you connected that bridge, like boom, right there. You made the connection. That's what it is. And that's how you build those personal relationships in referral-based business. Now, something else I did, Paul and Brad and Sal, is set my seminars. My seminars are something that are really, I think, unique and different. I don't think they're so much unique, but I think they're unique. I mean, I average 500 to 1,000 people on my Zoom webinars once a month. So anybody watching the show, I was always trying to hustle real estate agents, right, to get the business. I'd go into their offices. I'll never forget the one office. There's this huge, gigantic building here in Independence where my office is at. I mean, it's like a castle. It looks like Buckingham Palace. It's huge, right? So I was talking to these agents back in 2004, and I was like, I need to get some agents to send me business. Like, where can I find these people? And they're like, Hash, I'll go to the Realty One building down on Rockside Road. It's like, it's gigantic. I go pull up to this building. I was like, oh my God, there's gonna be like 800 real estate agents in this building. I was like, this is incredible. Like,
nobody's in there. Nobody's in there.
I opened the door. And I'm like,
crickets. Dude.
Where the hell's everyone at? It was a national holiday. The building's closed. Whatever. I go to their, I've done so many different things. Well, then I'm talking to my one friend, Mike Deanna. He wrestled for the University of Iowa. So I've got to throw a little thing to him, but we're a little competitors. But I called Mike the one time, April of 2004. Hey, Mike, it's Hash, what's going on? Whatever. I'm going to a seminar. I'm like, oh, really, Mike? Where are you going? I got to go to a seminar for my license. And I was like, interesting. Like, what do you need to go to a seminar for? We need continuing education. I was like, really? That's so cool. I need continuing education for my license. How much do you need? He was like, 30 hours every 3 years. I said, so you're going to where are you headed? It's a hotel. Really? Like, what are you going there for? He's like, well, there's a company that puts these classes on and I get hours for this stuff and on and on and on. And so I go, really? Like, and other real estate agents do this too? Yeah. How many agents are going to be there? Probably like 300 or 400. Holy mother of mercy. And somebody's going to be standing at the front. What are they going to be talking about? They're going to be talking about this. I was like, how do you become that guy? He's like, I don't know, call it division. April 2004. I'm not kidding you. I called the Ohio Division of Real Estate. Hey, my name's Khash Saghafi. I'd like to do seminars for real estate for continuing education. How do I do it? Well, go here, go there, get this form, do that form, send a check here, boom, boom, boom. My first seminar was June 16th, 2004. The topic was Ask the Underwriter. Okay, that was the topic. I'm sitting here saying, it's the first topic I ever do. We had 75 real estate agents there. I had the underwriters from Countrywide Home Loans do the topic, right?
Yeah.
Over the years, I changed it to where I'm just the person talking. Today, my seminars are approved in Ohio and Oklahoma. So I just had a seminar last week. We had, I think, 600 real estate agents and attorneys on it. The topic was civil rights. That's a core class required in Ohio. It's an elective class in Oklahoma. So for 3 hours, I had 600 real estate agents on a call stuck, like trapped like rats in a cage if they want their hours. And that's like a joke I tell too. I'm like, okay, you guys get 3 hours of continuing education. It's free. Okay. And if you want the certificates, you're stuck for the next 3 hours. That's why for the next 2 hours and 59 minutes, I'm going to talk about Ohio State football. I figure you guys don't really care what I talk about. I'd rather talk about something I like. So why not talk about that? and they still laugh and they put comments in there, whatever. But seriously, like for example, the Civil Rights Act of 1968, fair housing, the Age of Discrimination Act, you can't discriminate based on age. I got agents to call me and say, Hesh, the buyer can't afford the loan, but her grandparents will co-sign, but they're 90 years old. Will you give a loan to them? Well, the Age of Discrimination Act prevents you from discriminating based on age, whatever. You start talking like that in front of 500 people.
You're the expert, dude.
You're the expert. I've done these now for 17 years. I'm telling you, that's where all of my personal business comes to. Paul, to you, to Sal, to Brett, to everybody watching, I've told people, if you want to get it approved in Michigan, Paul, so you could do it, I will send you my material. You could have it. Delete my name at the top. Put your name. Just use my material. I'll show you where to download the forms, how to send it in, how to set it. I'll help you with all of it, and you can have all of it. And God bless you. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'll help you as much as I can.
Hash, it seems to me that you're a guy that thinks in abundance. You're not a scarcity mindset type of guy.
What made you think of that?
I like here's the thing. There's going to be 6 million purchases in the United States today. 6 million. Okay. This year, 6 million. I'm sitting here saying like, I don't have the staff to handle 1,000 loans this month. We don't. We couldn't handle it. If you call, Hash, I got 1,000 loans here. I can't handle it. Right. UWM can handle God knows what, right?
Right.
Love everything about them, whatever. But I could take. I'll take a couple hundred this month. You know, I'll take a couple thousand this year. You guys will take a few hundred or whatever it all is. Out of 6 million, the chances, Paul, that you and I cross paths on the same person is 0. So I'm sitting here saying like, man, let's just help each other. It's not like people are like, Hash, you're going to give the secrets out. What secrets? I buy lending tree leads. I don't know. I call agents and say I could do loans. I do FHA, whatever it is. I mean, there's no secrets, man.
Yeah, no. We should that's why I wanted you on the show, because I love being able to share ideas with people in the industry. It's just it is the way that we think, right? Sal, do you have any questions for our man Hash before we get to 3 questions?
Oh boy, I'm nervous.
Yeah, I think it's the first word I said the whole time.
Yeah, bro.
I'm sorry. I apologize, man. I swear.
No, I like it. I like it.
I talk too much.
Perfect.
So, just curious, right? Like you said, you have underwriters. Do you have your own, like your DE or?
100%. I have 10 underwriters. We have 3 SARs. I think we have all of my underwriters are DEs. I think so.
How hard was it to get your DE? Well, was that a tough part? When, by the way, for the audience to understand, so what Hesh is doing, he's going direct to Fannie and Freddie and FHA and be able to sell the products right to them. How hard was that to get?
Not really that hard, to be honest with you. It was, you needed a DE underwriter, so I had one.
Yeah.
You know, so I had she was retired, so she came out of retirement to help me get the DE.
I got you.
But quite honestly, other than that, it was kindergarten. It's just doing a loan. It's just underwriting it and conditioning it. It was not hard at all. If you have the 1 million net worth, which HUD requires like 25% of it to be cash and the rest of it could be paper clips and copiers or something. No, you'll get the DE. You'll absolutely get the DE.
Interesting.
I'll help you guys or anybody. So Sal, to answer your question and to talk you to death again for another 14 minutes. So I have like 10 underwriters. We close and fund loans in our own name, then we turn and sell them off. I don't know. We don't service, but
that's it.
I don't know. That's it. We're very vanilla. We do FHA, VA, USDA conventional. I don't do non-QMs. I don't want to put those on my lines. I'm terrified of being stuck on my lines. I don't want that.
Yeah,
when COVID hit. What was like the initial reaction? Were you worried about because you could do all your own BOEs and all that, right?
Oh, here for a 10-day window. Any human being that like is a banker or whatever, even the brokers with the warehouse lines, if you had a line or anything like that, if they do not tell you that they thought they were going under and going to live with their parents, they're lying to you. Okay.
Everybody did.
I'm not kidding you. I was on the phone with my brother. I've got no debt. Okay. I'm very debt averse today. I was drowning in debt years ago. I've learned my lesson. I'm done, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone with my brother saying, I'm going to go under. We're going to lose everything, whatever. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have any debt. I said, you don't get it. Like, I've got this much money in the bank, and we just closed $55 million in loans. And Mark Calabria just came on television and said, nobody has to make their house payment. And my contractual agreements with my investors are, if they don't make their payment, I can't sell them. I'm going to owe 50. Yeah, but Hesh, you have a few $1 million in the bank. I have 50 million on my lines.
Yes,
okay. They will do this. And there was a time at the end of March where Melissa would call me every morning, Hash, we got 10 loans to fund today. Do you want to fund them? And I was like, I'm not kidding you. I was like, screw it. We've already got 50 freaking million on the line. What's another freaking 10? Go ahead and fund them. Oh, dude, it was like horrifying. Like, I thought we were done. I was like, there was a 10-day window. I was like, we're done. Not just done, like done. Like
our industry just collapsed overnight.
And, dude, that's about right too. It was about a 10-day window. It was just sheer panic.
It was just like,
and then we slingshotted into an absolute crazy low rate time. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and it's boomed.
I mean, it
is wild.
Like slingshot.
It is super wild.
Then capacity issues. My lines were 50 million, and we've got 53 million. They're bulging my line, and everyone's having capacity issues, and you're one on, one off, or one off, one on, and all this craziness and stuff like that. I mean, it got nuts, man.
Our business is not for the faint of heart, but if you do figure it out, it's lucrative, it's dynamic, and you're never gonna have a boring day really in our business. That's for sure. All right, Hash, we're gonna do 3 questions. You ready for it?
I hope. I'm nervous.
No, they're easy questions.
Easy.
First question: what scares Hash Saghafi?
What makes me nervous? What makes me nervous in business? I guess that my debt is more than my income, I guess. I mean, it sounds like a crazy question. It's not a crazy question, but I've never really thought about it, to be brutally honest with you. I don't know.
Are you afraid of spiders, maybe?
So I don't like snakes.
Okay.
I don't like snakes. I definitely don't like snakes. And sharks. I have this terrifying fear of sharks. So when I go to the ocean, I refuse to go anywhere near the water. I will not, like, wherever the shore comes all the way up. And I live in Cleveland, so there's really no ocean I got to worry about. Whenever the water comes to the top of where it goes, I will be like 5 feet beyond that.
Oh, really?
I won't go there. So I don't like sharks. And I'm not that fan of flying. My dad was a private pilot. I got I've taken classes on being a private pilot and stuff like that. My dad had an airplane and stuff like that. And when I go to fly places, I take off. I'm so terrified of taking off and landing because that's when accidents happen. There's this TV show called Air Disasters. I watch it constantly.
You probably shouldn't watch that.
I'm not kidding you. It's the worst show to watch for me, but I watch it constantly. I flew to Oklahoma a couple months ago, man. I'm about to take off. I'm like, oh my God, I hope the captain's not hitting on the stewardess or something. Because this one plane crashed. They were flirting with each other. These crashed the damn thing. Oh, it's crazy.
That's a horrible show to watch if that's one of your fears.
But I got a flight at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, Ash. Next question is: if you could go back to any decade and live in that decade, which one would it be? Like the 70s, the 60s?
Come on, man.
50s?
80s by a mile. 80s. I don't have to think like we've got like 80s. Like it's the greatest decade of the freaking world. Like Guns N' Roses was #1 on the charts in '87. I mean, just like 80s music, nothing compares. I was born in '73, so I'm a child of the '80s.
Yeah.
It's just nothing compares. 80s music all day long. If I pulled up here, watch this one. This is not even a setup, right? Watch this. It was. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up here. I don't know if you guys could see it.
What is that?
I go.
Oh yeah,
Meatloaf. Hey, I was listening to that driving in the car this morning.
I forgot about Meatloaf. I haven't thought about Meatloaf in years.
I didn't. I listened to that. That's all I listened to in my car. Now, Three Doors Down is my favorite band today.
Yeah.
Ozzy, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, old Metallica. I still love them now. I don't like saying they sold out, but Metallica before And Justice for All, Kill 'Em All, one of the greatest albums, whatever. But Three Doors Down, best concert I've ever been to. By the way, best concert, John Denver. Greatest concert in the world.
John Denver, really?
Best concert I was ever at in my life. That dude's a freak musician, crazy. I play the guitar also and the piano a little bit. So John Denver, craziest concert, Ozzy Osbourne, Oklahoma City Fairgrounds, August 1994, general admission. We had to get pulled out of the crowd during Alice in Chains.
That's awesome.
I couldn't make. We were being crushed to death. We could not make it to Ozzy. I was like, we're losers. We got pulled out before Ozzy came out.
That's wild.
That was the craziest concert.
You guys got a question, or you want me to handle it?
Go for it,
Brad.
Yeah, you got one on tip of your tongue?
No. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could only bring 3 items, and you can't have a boat, right? You get a boat or a jet ski.
I hate boats. Boats.
So you get to bring 3 items. You're on a deserted island, right? You don't like water, so you're not going near that, right? So what are the 3 items you bring?
Oh, easy. That's an easy question for me to answer. I need something that can play music.
Okay.
And I need a TV so I can watch my movies like Terminator, Rambo, Batman, Dark Knight Rises, stuff like that. Like seriously, like TV, like if I can get Wi-Fi signal, I want TV so I can watch my movies. I want something to play my music. And my third thing,
maybe
a hatchet. I'm not gonna be like Tom Cruise, right? To cut down coconuts or something like that. But a power course for endless power, or a Christmas tree. I love Christmas. I love Christmas decorations. I'm a Christmas freak. I'm serious. Listen, it's in my will. It's in my will. I'm having a Christmas tree with 24/7 Christmas music playing at my funeral. It's in my will. Sounds crazy. People are watching this thinking this dude's a complete nut job. But when I don't know, when you think about it, you got to plan that stuff. So I want a Christmas tree at my funeral.
Come on, man. That's awesome.
I'm serious.
That is amazing.
I love Christmas, man. Love it. Decorations, man. There's nothing like it.
I love Christmas time. That time of year is actually a special time of year. I love it too. Hash, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you if they need to.
You can get a hold of me. My cell phone is 216-780-1103. See, Mitchell John Denver's the man. So one person's watching out there. Thank you, sir. I love that. See, I like that guy already, man. Yeah. He is like the music's like the dude was crazy musician. But anyways, my cell phone, or just Google my name, find me on just Google or type in my name. Yeah. I'm on social media. I'm like social media. I'm the crazy guy steering down the highway in heavy traffic in the snow, pitch black, trying to click like on Facebook, steering the car with my knee. So yes, that's me swerving all over. Why does that guy just cross over 3 lanes? He's drunk. No, he's trying to click like on Facebook.
Ash, I love your transparency, man. It is so refreshing, to be honest with you. It is just super refreshing, man. I can't thank you enough for doing the show, dude. Like you are just full of energy, and you bringing you on, you were going to be just wild. So it's awesome. I love it, and keep up the good work.
I can't say enough how, being serious for a second, I joke a lot and stuff like that, but I sincerely appreciate the opportunity, Paul. You're a big deal. Your show is a big deal. Soundbread, you guys have this whole thing put together. It's a huge opportunity, and any opportunity I've given, I try to take advantage of it. So I sincerely appreciate it. And if there's anything I can ever do to help you guys, I'll give you everything I've got, all of my data on Lending Tree. We're buying Op City leads now. I got all these Op City leads. We got 330 leads last month. I'll give you my credit pull rates. I'm gonna come down and spend a day with you. Honestly, I'll email you our data tables. It'll show you contact rates, how much we spend, how many credits we pull, and anybody watching me. Like, if you want to buy Op City, we just started buying. Well, we've been buying it for a while, but we've got good conversions. It's about like a 60. I'll go on for hours on this stuff. Yeah. I'll give you all my data. Anything I can do to help you guys. God bless you. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity.
I love it, man. I love it. God bless you, man. I really I'm glad you didn't die, by the way, in the staff.
That makes two of us.
Yeah, I'm very happy you didn't die. But listen, man, thank you for doing the show, and we'll have you back on again sometime soon.
Much appreciated.
All right, brother.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Be good. Yep. How about that guy, huh?
It was the easiest show we've ever done. I didn't have to say more than 2 words.
I love energy. I like it.
So entertaining, man.
I love it. But yeah, I followed him for a while, and I knew he'd be good on the show. And he's just a genuinely very transparent, good person. You know what I mean?
100%.
You know,
not a lot of people are willing to help for nothing. You know what I mean?
No.
But I mean, he understands that it's not for nothing either, right? I mean, relationships are relationships, so.
He's big on relationships, man, and that's what we do. So I was very happy to have him on. I'm literally going to go visit him because he's got a pretty good operation there. I mean, he's done some things. So,
no kidding.
So, all right, boys. Anything else you guys want to add before we go for the day?
That's it, man. I got a lot of work to do now.
All right. So for those of you that have made it this far to the show, thank you for listening. You make our show what it is every week that we're on. Obviously, like we said, go to any of your podcast apps, like, share, subscribe. Or go to irepodcast.com, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff, right? You can even email us at info@irepodcast.com. So thank you all for listening. You guys have a very good week. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Inside Real Estate, the nation's top real estate podcast. Don't forget to follow us at irepodcast.com and everywhere where podcasts are available.